Aliens are no longer alien. Thanks to the increasingly pervasive use of special effects and CGI, aliens have become old hat. Merely having an extraterrestrial in your film doesn't make it particularly fresh or striking. The 2016 sci-fi film Arrival attempts to change that, especially in Dr. Louise Banks' first encounter with the alien heptapods. In this scene, director Denis Villeneuve combines the eerie score with striking lighting and unusual camera positioning to achieve his desired effect, creating an atmosphere that is really and truly alien. Villeneuve sets the stage for the scene by slowly building up to it. He alternates between somber, wide shots of the breathtaking landscape, set during an appropriately mysterious, foggy, cloudy day, and medium close-ups of the characters. The soundtrack combines the eerie whine of Johan Johansson's score with the breathing and gasping of the characters, particularly Louise. Our first sign that this is new territory is that our characters ascend into the darkness. This is a sort of visual opposite of the film trope of descending from the real world into an underworld, from Wayne Manor into the Batcave, or from Earth down into Hades. Note the lighting contrasts here. For much of the ascent, the only light comes from the human characters in their hazmat suits. That changes, however, when they stop in place and see the rectangle of light above them, reflected also, for instance, on Ian's helmet here. When they begin to move into the spaceship, we get the two lights juxtaposed, a square shot of the ground from the perspective of above. As the characters jump onto the alien spacecraft, there is some fascinating camera movement with the continuous shots. The effect that Villeneuve creates is one of gravity changing. This is not, he shows us, the world we think we know. The score is minimal until this point, but once the characters are firmly in the spacecraft, the eerie blaring returns and we get a slowly zooming shot of the corridor. The track is paralleled with another camera pan just seconds later, with one crucial difference. The camera is upside down. And then we get a wide shot that has a foggy rectangle on the left and the upside down characters on the right. In both shots, Villeneuve communicates through this unusual angle that this is a different world. This is an alien version of the world where you can't even rely on gravity to be consistent. One striking part of these frames is the use of color. Everything is black and white except for the stark orange of the hazmat suits. This allows Villeneuve to highlight that these humans are foreign intruders on alien ground. They literally and visually do not belong. Louise knows this, and accordingly, Villeneuve moves into Louise's helmet. We see the slight distortion of the helmet glass and her hard breathing, which tells us, the viewers, how we should feel. Villeneuve briefly moves us back to Earth, with this shot of the bird silhouetted. The bird's chirping remains in the background of the soundtrack throughout the initial part of the scene, but once the heptapods appear, we don't hear it again. It gets replaced with that same blaring note in the score, and the bird remains silent until the end of the scene. This brief reminder of Earth just serves to ground us long enough to sharply yank us back to the heptapods' arrival here. Again, once Villeneuve communicates just how foreign these creatures are, he shows us how we should react. Louise's eyes widen, they look a little wet. She steps back and we get this striking shot of the heptapod silhouette with Louise's hand curling into a fist suddenly. She flinches, breathing more heavily. She's framed between the heptapod silhouettes. The soundtrack is dominated by throbbing bass notes, and once Weber says, "You can start," it cuts to the next scene. By abruptly returning to the real world, Villeneuve creates in us the shock of first contact. Louise, like the viewer, has no words, only a speechless response to something truly alien.